Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the questions you have. There goes some more water. We're in the barn. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the same day this video is going to come out. It is very, very early. We're going to be answering some questions that were posted in some previous videos. But first, let me show you something really cool. That's the highest point where I've ever had the water, or at least in the last couple years. And look where we are. We're right there. How about that for crazy? I don't know if you can hear the wind, but the wind is kicking. I mean, really kicking. So before we answer those questions, I'm gonna run down and take a look at the ducks and the geese. Of course, you can't see that in the dark. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. So I just came in from doing the ducks and the geese. They're down there near the chickens, and I was afraid that they were gonna blow away again. That happened a couple of weeks ago where the winds came in, lifted it off the ground, and sent it to the fence. I couldn't believe it, because that one's metal. This time, I put the wood on it. I have an old railroad tie. It's a non-treated railroad tie that we used to use for firewood, but I kept a couple extra, and I put that right on the top of it, just half of it, because I couldn't pick the whole thing up. And that seems to hold them down pretty good. So they're not going anywhere right now. But I'm telling you, the winds are kicking right now. Temperatures are about 40, 45 degrees. In fact, let's take a look at the monitor system, and we can see what it is. Inside 45 degrees, outside about 50 in some sections. This is our monitoring system. It's from CDL. And what it's showing right now, we're sitting at 24 inches of vacuum here in the barn. And we've got 22, 21.8 on the mountain, meaning most of the sensors are about 22. One's at 21.8. We need to do a little work there. Let me see where well, we already know where the tank is, which is 95% full. And what this monitoring system does for me is enable me not to have to walk the entire mountain whenever we're looking for leaks. I can come into here, hey, there goes some more water. I can come into here or look at my phone or look at my computer. I can even look at it on the mountain too. In case you don't know, we don't have cell reception here. So up on the mountain, these sensors create a wireless mesh within the woods. And if I pair my device or my phone to this little device called a sniffer, I'm able to get the data while I'm up there in the woods fixing leaks. So what I'll do is I'll look at these lines, the vacuum, that's the key there. If one of the vacuum lines is lower than the others, then that's the only line I have to walk. Otherwise, like I used to walk that entire bush just about every day. Nowadays, I don't have to do that. Once we get leaks done, this system's gonna tell me what I need to do or where I should start, but I still gotta walk it. And it's not too bad. Inside here we have the reverse osmosis machine, and I wish I'd cleaned it earlier, but I didn't, so I need to do a rinse on it and then change my filters out, which are right down there. I'm gonna do that here in just a little bit, and we'll see what it's doing. I see a drip of water. That's not good, is it? So while that's doing its thing, let me answer a couple of your questions. So the way my days normally work, especially doing YouTube videos, I get up around 3 o'clock. So 2 o'clock's not a stretch. What was a stretch was getting up at 11, 12, 1, and 2 in order to check the monitoring system. I have it on my phone, and I also have it on my iPad, which is what I'm going to use to answer a couple of your questions, or to look at the questions so that I can answer them. So I had to check this thing throughout the night, and probably in hindsight, it would have been a good idea to RO yesterday, or at least take that tank from 50% about bedtime and knock it down to about, I don't know, 20, 10%, something like that. Then I probably could sleep all the way till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning versus having to get up. But I gotta tell you, I was up on the mountain yesterday, and it wasn't brutal, but I was walking up and down finding leaks. I had a couple of friends come over, Kevin and Mel, and it was just wonderful to have them come and help out. So we went up there, and they did a section, and I did a section, and then we redid some sections because the leaks were really tough, hard to find. And what did we find? A bear bite, lots of bear bites, lots of squirrel bites. So Gabriel is going to be spending some time in the woods on the squirrels, that's for sure. I don't know about the bears. Maybe later we'll hunt a few bears, but at this point it's not a big deal. What's happening right now here in the barn is the RO is doing its thing. It's It's got about 15 or 20 minutes on the rinse. And in the meantime, I'm gonna answer a couple questions. Eric and Darcy made a comment. Eric and Darcy are from Florida. They come up to visit, not us, but they come to this area. And we've connected through YouTube, and they've been a wonderful couple to kind of talk with throughout the year. And they keep up with our videos, and it's really funny. Eric said, I thought you were the only brave one enough to be out there in the frozen tundra, but I see this year you have some help. And I did. We had some friends, who was it? Now, Kevin and Mel were just here yesterday. Last week or the week before, it was Jeff and Nova. And Jeff and Nova owned a coffee shop. I might have talked about them in a previous video, but they owned a coffee shop over in Elkton, and they continually came here and gave us coffee. I don't drink coffee. I think it smells like heaven, but I really don't drink coffee. And it took us a couple of years, and finally we created a coffee maple syrup, and then it got even weirder. They dropped off a coffee roasting machine and taught me how to roast coffee. So now I roast some of their coffee, and we do a USDA certified organic coffee too. We got certified organic and roasted coffee about a year ago. That's pretty cool. Oh, hey, this thing's going off. I'll be right back. Let me show you what I'm gonna do when I change the filters out in the RO. I don't always use a towel, that's for sure. I'm not concerned about water in here, but recently I saw some water and I don't know what to think. Do I have a leak up inside of one of these tubes or some of the plumbing somewhere? I just don't know. So today I'm actually gonna leave this towel here to catch some of the water that's gonna come out of these two filters when I pull the filters out. These are my wash filters, and what that means, no, that's sticky. All right, the wash filters are used whenever we have to do the maintenance or the cleaning on this RO. Now I like to, let's see, there we go. I like to get this over top of it, or under it rather, and then we're gonna dump this water directly in it. Okay. Then we get our clean filters, and we put our clean filter on. Ask me how many times I have messed this up. A lot. A lot. These are kind of like an oil filter. You really don't want to put them on too hard. There we go. There we go. Now what these filters do is catch the large particulates that might be coming from the tank. We do pre-filter our water coming into the barn off the mountain. So there's some sock filters that do that first filtering, but just in case something's there, you want to catch it before it gets into the membrane. So that's what these filters do. Now, we got a little bit of water down there, but not a lot. Okay. Now we're going to set this up. So I'm going to set this up to start ROing, and then before I do that, I got to shut a tank valve. Let me show you what I mean. So our big tank is our collection tank. It's approximately 5,000 gallons. So we're sitting on about 5,000 gallons. Right now, after cleaning, there's a valve right up in here that I've got to shut. If I don't shut that valve, all that concentrate's going down the drain. Okay. Now that that valve is shut, we've got to open this valve right here on the floor. Okay, that valve is open. Uh-oh. Ooh, watch that water go up. I'll put that valve there so it doesn't go down. See the bubbles? It'll bubble up and spill out. All right, we're back in here. We're gonna get this guy ready to concentrate, and I'm gonna have to sit in here for about 20 minutes to make sure all the pressures are doing what they need to do. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna close both of these valves, and then we're gonna open them up. That sounds silly, right? Close it and open it up, but they need to be in a certain position. And so by closing them and going backwards, we know where that position is gonna be. We're gonna send the permeate to the tank, which is right in here, and that's some really clear water. And now we've got to open up the valves on the back side over here. And you can see we've got a lot of junk in here. This is warm, this room is warm all the time. So I'll keep my pumps in here. Like I've got a little baby pump there. I got a power washer, another power washer. Thank you, Jesse, because I love that power washer. I'm not giving it out and back. A big pump. I got my slime for my tires. All right, so we are now about to start this guy up. And I'm gonna let you down. I'm gonna put you down for just a minute because I'm gonna turn on, but I've got to do a couple valves adjustments at the same time. So we're gonna hit the button, we're gonna wait. So we've got, as our flow is coming, we're good here. Now we can go to stage 2, which is this green button here. Nah, we can't go to stage 2. All right, we gotta do it again. So the reason that aired out is because we had some bubbles inside there, and whenever it detects bubbles, that's telling it that it's empty. So it shuts itself off automatically. So we may have to give it a minute or so before we hit it. See, we've got some bubbles in there, and that could shut it down. Let's try it again. All right, you see some bubbles, but the flow is good. Now, we're gonna wait 2 minutes. Where's my phone? I'll explain here in just a minute why we're doing 2 minutes. Once I get 2 minutes or a minute and a half up, because it's gonna take me half a minute to do that. All right, 122. When that goes off, I'll explain what we're gonna do in a minute. In the meantime, we've got these floats right here. We want this side over here to be at 2. We want this to be almost as tight as it can be, which that's off. We're gonna back off a little bit, ensure that that's 2, and we're gonna wait that next minute, which is what we have left, before we send the concentrate up to the tank. Right now what's happening is the concentrate is pushing all that permeate, which is still inside here, out. If we were to take a reading, over here, this is the water coming in, and this is the water going into the tank. This is gonna start climbing in sugar content. The whole goal for this machine is to get the sugar content boosted up in the water, so we're boiling with sweeter water. The sweeter the water we boil with, the shorter the boil, or the more efficient our boil is. And that's what this machine does. Most large producers have an RO of some sort. Big producers have big ROs. Small producers like me, we have small ROs. This thing is awesome. All right, we got 5 seconds. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna send that concentrate by turning this valve to the tank above the big tank. Now it's heading out. You can also see where we're just about here, where we wanna be. And you'll notice that we've got, this one's a little higher than this one. What's gonna happen, it makes the first pass through here on the first post. When it makes that second pass, this post has to work a little bit harder, so these are always out of sync a little bit. When this reaches down to about 4, we've got to do a wash, or a rinse, And that rinse is going to get that sugar off that membrane and allow it to keep going. That's going to take about 2 hours before it needs to be rinsed, but I'll check it every hour or so to make sure it hasn't come down too fast. The harder you push it, the more times you have to rinse it. All right, I'm hearing it, but I want to physically put my eyes on it. that's a lot of water, buddy. You see that? It's coming in. And that water is sweet too. The water we get in off of our trees, especially because they're mountain trees, could be between 1% and 2% sugar. That RO machine, it'll boost it up to 7 or 8. When we double pass it or do a second pass or recirculate, we can take it up to almost 20. That is crazy sweet. Water. So hopefully if we've got a leak, it's gonna present itself and we can find it. In the meantime, let's get back to some of your questions. All right, I really should get some reading glasses. I am tired and I'm old. So sometimes it's hard to read these things. We were just talking about Jeff and Nova, and they have been a true blessing this year. They really embraced line maintenance, but tapping especially. I don't let many people tap our trees. I really don't. This is the second year that I've had them come up, or they've wanted to come up. So we've gone through Kevin's tapping class. Once they've gone through that, it takes for me to get the confidence in them. It's usually a couple hours each time they come out, so that we can really dial in some of the challenges that you face in tapping and all the things that go into tapping. Once we do that, and I feel a little bit better, then they can go into their own sections. So we're able to check it with the leak detection, which is what we've been doing for a couple of days. Suffice to say, I am grateful for Jeff and Nova and Kevin and Mal who come out to give us a hand. If any of you want to come out and give us a hand, we welcome that. There's certain operations that we allow you to do. Coming up here, when the season's just about over, you can help untap, which is a lot of fun. We have to clean the lines at the end of the season by taking popping the tap and squirting some permeate, which is that really clear blue water, into the drop while the vacuum's on, looping it, and then we do the entire sugar bush, which is about 3,000 taps. And then once all that's done, we shut the vacuum off, and then we go back, believe it or not, and we unloop them and let them dry. Once they've dried, we go back and we loop them again. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the line maintenance that we have adopted, and it works pretty well for us. Now let's see who else we've got. Oh, some other questions that we got going on here. Smagzilla. I love that screen name. He talked about in a video that I posted doing fixing the main line that he had to repair his main line this year too. I will say that we've got to do our main lines not several times a year. We try to catch all those leaks in the beginning, but sometimes you can't. And as a result, you got to do them in the middle of the season like we did that particular video. And would you believe I found some more leaks again? These were so large that you could hear them from maybe 100 to 200 meters away. That bear had chomped it a lot of times. I did not do the repair. What I did was I used duct tape, I cleaned the whole line, and I duct taped the whole thing because we're under vacuum, not pressure. So what happens is that vacuum will suck that duct tape right into those holes, and I can get to the end of the season without having to fix it. That's a good thing. But at some point, I'm going to have to get in there and put a fitting in. Dino, that's a funny comment, showing off my chicken hutch and the chickens in a chicken show. I didn't really know there's such things as a chicken show. That would be kind of fun. Sawyer's Maple. Thank you for watching, Kurt. His name is Kurt Sawyer out of Sawyer's Maple. Check his website out or check his channel out. Kurt is a really good sugar maker up in Maine. He produces a lot of maple syrup and a lot of different things. If you can get on his website and get some of his either cotton candy, we do cotton candy too, but he does that cotton candy. The one he really does that I like is that popcorn, is maple popcorn. It takes a long time to make. That stuff is delicious. Julie Henderson 9539, why do you put DE in your syrup? She's not picking at me, she says. She'd just like to know. What a setup. Well, thank you for the comment. You know, we put DE in our syrup in order to filter it. You can try to filter it through paper filters. It's not going to work. What DE does is it creates a bond, a cake, if you will. So the first thing it does is it coats the filter so that it then becomes its own cake. Syrup is pushed through it, and any kind of imperfections, whether it's a mineral, just about anything. Minerals do collect in the back of the pans when we're making syrup. That's why we use an air injection system. But What the air injection, I'm kind of going blending a couple of things here. The air injection enables us to get the solids to move about in the pan so they don't rest there, it'll come out and then we can filter it. The DE grabs that and keeps it from staying in the bottle so that when we put our syrup into a bottle, it's as clear as it possibly can be. We typically make a light maple syrup, sort of, I don't know what the grade would be. It may be an extra fancy, I don't know grades, okay? We don't grade our syrup here on the farm because we're just an organic maple syrup farm and the only one in Virginia, and that's all we really have to do. When you get up into northern, like New England, they will grade their syrups because they're selling it more as a commodity. I would guess that's why they do it. I really don't know. If someone's a sugar maker here or in the comments, hey, let us know why you grade. We don't grade. People like our syrup. We're really blessed to not have to do it. I don't know if it'd be difficult to do, but we don't do it. At any rate, we DE or we use DE, diatomaceous earth, in order to clean it. That's why we do it. KEN-E90. I can't believe you're making syrup already. I think that we may be some of the lowest farms where you can make maple syrup in the United States because we have the weather. And for us in Virginia, like you go an hour east of us, it's about 10 degrees warmer all the time. Because we have the elevation in the maple tree and the sugar maple, we're able to make the maple syrup here in Highland County. There are other counties lower than us, say lower, more south than us, but they're all in the mountains, and that's really what gives us the ability to make maple syrup in Virginia. Otherwise, you really can't go and make too much maple syrup further south unless you're in the mountains. Mr. Mahanchak, I really appreciate your comments on our videos. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber and just watcher of our videos. Subscribers are great, but the folks that watch our videos like you is a lot. It really means a lot to me. Billa337, he says, it never ceases to amaze me how much work went into the jug of syrup sitting on my shelf. Thank you. It's a lot of work, that's for sure. But I think we make a really good product. And there's a lot of good maple syrup producers around, especially in Highland County. They make some really neat stuff. Ours is unique to our farm because it only comes from our farm. If I've not said this in a previous video, we don't blend other water from other farms to mix with our water to make our syrup. We don't blend other syrups with our syrup to make our syrup or call it our syrup. And we don't blend within the color spectrum. So what you get in our bottles is what came out of the tree that day. It's kind of cool. All right, Cindy from South, I'm gonna mess this up. I don't know why I'm gonna mess it up because maybe it's early, I don't know. Cindy from sunny South Florida asked the question, what is the difference between maple syrup and sorghum? Well, sorghum comes from a sorghum plant. And the way sorghum is made is it's pressed out and it's boiled. The plant grows annually, and then you take the sorghum and you can crush it in a sorghum, I call it like a sorghum crusher. They're kind of neat. A lot of times, the way I've seen it done is where they'll put a mule to the sorghum press, if you will, and he's walking around in a circle, and you put the sorghum into it and it crushes the juice out. You boil the juice, you get sorghum. And that's a plant that looks a little bit like sugar cane, but it grows in different regions. Where maple syrup comes out of a tree. It's a little bit different. You don't crush the tree. In sorghum, you only get the use of that plant one time, and then it's either fodder or it's something to be a soil amendment, I believe. But maple syrup, we tap that tree, we can just keep getting syrup out of that tree for a long time. We don't have to replant anything, not for a while anyway. Cindy goes on to say, I told my mother I've been watching your channel and about the syrup making, and she said as a child in West Virginia and Ohio, they made sorghum during the Depression. She's 93 years old. I tell you, we could learn a lot from those folks. We really could. My mom's family grew up during the Depression, and they had a completely different mindset than we do. And I'm not trying to say we're better or they're better than we are, but their mindset is one of frugalness. That is for sure. I remember my aunt growing up, when I was growing up, my aunt, they didn't buy a lot of new cars. They didn't have a lot of new things, but they always had money to spend on the things that they needed because they were savers. That's, I think, a lot different than what our society is today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think we're more of a consumer-driven society today. Back in the Depression, there wasn't a lot of money to save. So when they got out of the Depression, they continued that mindset and continued to save. At least my aunt did and my uncle did, all the way into their passing. Okay, Eric and Darcy again. You're right, Eric. That was the first sighting of the stuffed bear. I really should take him into the woods, but I don't know if you know this. That bear is huge. He got kicked out of the house. Emily kicked him out of the house. She said that bear's got to go. He's taking up too much space. In our last house, we put that bear in the corner, and I think the bedrooms were like 12-foot ceilings. So the bear almost looked normal. He really did. It was kind of funny. But here in this house, we only have, I say one room. We have, I think they're 11 foot in the downstairs, and I think upstairs maybe 10. So we have a lot more stuff. The house is smaller. It's not small, but it's smaller. And so he was getting in the way, and Emily said he's got to go. So I put him up over there. He's been really fun. I like him. Okay, the last comment is coming from Fix the Rust Bucket. And if you ever get a chance, go to @thefix. I'll leave it in the description below. He does some really cool things with cars, that's for sure. Here's what he says. The comment is, the sugar barn is alive. It looks like you're getting off to a great start this year. You said you have to finish looking for any leaks. That's a lot of water, even if you have possible leaks. And you know, in the first part of the season when you open up a tree, it's a lot of water, no doubt about it. For whatever reason, those trees just cut loose. Now, if it gets cold, they'll stop and they'll come back again. And at some point towards the end of the season, it just gets lower and lower amounts of water that you can get. So you always get a good amount of water in the beginning, and that's why it's so important to look for leaks. That's what we were doing yesterday with Kevin and Mal. I say yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. It feels like I didn't go to bed. But it feels like it was yesterday. We were up on the mountain looking for leaks, and we found most of them. Found a couple other challenges we're going to fix today and tomorrow. But when you get those leaks all fixed, then you can even get more water. Brian Trustolo, thanks for watching our videos. It means a lot. Miss you coming out here. Brian was our UPS guy. We love Brian. Hope you're doing well. Thanks a lot for watching our videos. Come on out. Come out and make some syrup with us. We'd love to have you on the farm, that's for sure. All right, well, that's going to end some questions for today. If you have any more questions, let me know. It's probably been about 20 minutes. We're going to go check on the RO now to make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to do. We'll check the tank, and then I'm going to go inside and edit this video so you can see it today. All right, you can see we're a little bit above 2, and I'm okay with that. This one's running pretty good. This one's sugaring up. So eventually I'm probably going to have to get another membrane for this. But in about an hour, I'll come back and I'll run a wash, and this will shoot back up for a little while, and of course it's going to come back down too. Let's go check the tank and see how much we have in it. The monitoring system is going to measure tank heights. This is a sap tank, that's a concentrate tank. Right now it's not reading there's anything in there. I know there's a little bit in there, but it's not reading it right now. Here soon, this one's going to go down, that one's going to go up. Life's going to be good. But I'm going to check it as well, just to make sure we don't have anything going anywhere it shouldn't be going. Oh, there's more water coming in. Yep, it's coming in. And boy, that stuff is delicious. Hey, thanks a lot for watching our videos. We really appreciate it. Hopefully one day we'll be able to do a live stream. There it goes again, a live stream of us making syrup. I know the last time it didn't work out, but I'm watching some videos. If anybody knows how to do it, hey, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Emily's gonna be helping me out with that because I can't do the camera for very long and answer comments and get this done. So we'll double team that, and we're looking forward to seeing you when that happens. Thanks again for watching our videos. Do consider giving us a thumb up. I'm messing up. I know it's early. Thanks for watching our videos. Do consider giving us a thumbs up. And until next time, God bless you.